4-3 defense lineup for the Bulldogs.
Ball's gonna be thrown up the.
Hello Monomoy, I'm Charlotte and I have some great news. Our world-famous Jawsome Alley is coming back by popular.
Students live complicated lives, and it can be hard to keep up with schoolwork. A couple years ago, our school implemented a system known as Jawsome to work around this issue. But how effective is this system? One of the groups that value Jawsome the most are student athletes, who use the time to make up for early dismissals because of sports. So, we'll be hearing from them first. Introduce yourselves.
My name is Patrick Jordan, and I am a freshman at Monomoy Regional High School, and I'm also a student athlete.
Hi, my name is Sean Needham. I'm a freshman at Monomoy High School, and I play football.
How do you use Jawsome?
I use Jawsome mostly to talk to friends, you know, because I get to spend time with them without a teacher like saying be quiet or pay attention.
I use Jawsome to hang out with my friends, and then I go to lunch right after it.
But like when my grades are low, then I'll like schedule with a teacher, and then they'll help me out with my grades.
And I mean, sometimes I use work, but I usually just hang out with my friends.
What do you think is the point of Jawsome, or how do you think it should be used?
I think the point of Jawsome is for like use it as like a study period to like catch up with missing work and stuff like that.
The point of Jawsome, I feel like, is to help like with your academics, to give you extra time like in school to have like one-on-one with a teacher, or like with extra work you have to do or work that you have late, so you have an opportunity to do it if you can't do it at home.
Or to like just hang out with your friends, have a socialized period in the middle of the day, so you know you're not like just bored and don't hang out with anyone all day. And I guess you could also say lunch. We have to go to lunch, but yeah.
As a student athlete, how helpful has Jawsome been for you?
I mean, when I have long practices and I can't do my homework, I like to use Jawsome to do it if my class is like at the end of the day. Like let's say I had a class right before lunch one day, and then I had practice and I couldn't do my homework. I could always do it during Jawsome since I'll have that class last, so they won't be able to grade my papers. So, I mean, it's great just to catch up on work and all that stuff. It's just amazing.
I feel like Jawsome is very helpful for me. It helps me like know like when I need help for like a class and everything, because teachers will either like tell me, oh, I'm gonna sign you up or anything, or I can just hang with friends and they'll help me sometimes.
What kind of issues or problems have you had with Jawsome?
I haven't had any issues with Jawsome except for just the scheduling, how teachers will be like, oh, you need to schedule now, but I just need a little extra time to find out like what friends you're doing, or like what grades I need to get up, and like what teachers I have to see and everything.
I feel like it should be longer, because like I'm like eating and I barely get done with my lunch, and like socializing with my friends, it feels quick. I mean, it could be pretty long, but I mean, it feels really short. Also, there's like a little bit of less options. Like there could be a little bit more, like instead of just like shark cafes and stuff like that, it could be like more like interesting ones, like doing stuff and like, yeah.
I feel like some ways to improve Jawsome is to like have an option to not schedule and just like be able to walk around the school or go to wherever you want. I don't know, like, but I understand like you can't do that because you might get lost and people need to track you down, know where you are if you need to get dismissed or stuff. But we can have like a little like less like ease it out, so we're able to go on more like walks or talks with friends and everything. And that's pretty much it.
Do you think Jawsome is an overall positive or negative in our school?
Yeah, overall Jawsome seems like a major positive. I like that Monomoy was able to like corrupt their own thing, like Jawsome, like with sharks and everything, like other schools have. But yeah, I think it's a very big positive.
I think it's pretty positive because like in other schools, it's just like you have lunch and then that's it. It's just like the whole school is in one lunch and that's it. I mean, this one has like options, so it's like not just lunch, but it's just like you can go out, hang friends, socialize, study, work, and all that stuff. And also at the same time having lunch. It might be short, like unless because it's like shortened, I guess it may, like adds up, so it's kind of bad, but it's also pretty good for all that stuff.
Most Jawsomes are either extra help or shark cafes, which is an alternative for people who don't want to go to the cafeteria. You can also do quiet study in the library, but every once in a while we have something special going on, such as a job fair, or one time we had a local band called the Placeholders perform in our auditorium for anyone to go to. We have also had a real congressional debate that students could go to during Jawsome. However, Jawsome is just as important to teachers as it is to students, so we'll be hearing from them next. Introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Miss Manning. I teach 8th grade science.
Hello, my name is Ruben Bowman. I'm a math teacher here at Monomoy High School. I've been a teacher here for 4 years, and I've been teaching 9 years total.
How do you use Jawsome?
I use Jawsome. Kids they come in here, they like to eat lunch, they like to spend time with friends, like to get caught up on classwork, on homework, they like to retake tests and quizzes, what they're doing right now. And just extra time they can catch up, learn, or just a safe, comfortable place to be.
So I use Jawsome in the following ways. So I'm set up to have Jawsome B, as are all the other science teachers, and then students can sign up for different windows of time, but I try to make it useful in more than one way, each offering.
What do you think is the point of Jawsome, or how do you think it should be used?
I think that there are a number of really good uses for Jawsome. One of them is for student athletes, so students that get dismissed because of our dismissal times being funky.
I think more students should use it for its purpose rather than hanging out. There are some students who could use it for education, getting more practice, getting more help, retaking things that they've missed.
They really benefit, so the student athletes, also kids who are in drama, music programs, they can really work on things in case they get dismissed or have after-school obligations.
But there are some kids who have A's, so they come in, they get some stuff done, and they are able to eat lunch or do activities, extracurriculars, the other clubs that they have. I mean, it's used for a lot of things, and I think it's okay.
How helpful do you think Jawsome has been for your students?
I think it's helpful because some kids don't have the luxury of staying after school, so they are not able to, take the bus or not able to get a ride home or something like that. So they're able to use Jawsome to get anything they're missing done, and that way they can just take the regular bus home.
I've noticed a huge improvement since we implemented Jawsome a number of years ago, and so I really think it's beneficial for my students in all the ways that I already mentioned, but it gives them a chance to just kind of learn at their own pace, and it takes that pressure off of that bell to bell, like I gotta get everything done in that time.
What kind of issues or problems have you or your students had with Jawsome?
I think that for 8th graders, especially when they don't realize that, even if they don't have a lot of academics to do in the beginning of the school year, and then all of a sudden progress reports come out and they have academics, then they start to view that academic piece as a punishment, which is why I think there should be that gradual release, just so they can really understand what it's for and how useful it is.
I think a big issue is students who are not signing up for Jawsome and they're randomly going to places like the team room where they should not be. Also, Jawsome like to go to the team room and they make it a mess, and then the janitor has to clean it up, and that's not fair to them. They have a regular schedule they have to keep up with.
And then another piece is just sort of wandering and fooling around. I don't know if you can hear the background noise, but there's been a few kids sort of in the hall throwing some things, like yelling and screaming in the bathrooms, and so my location near the bathrooms kind of sets up a problem because I can hear all that echoing, I can hear stuff that's going on, so I think kids that wander or tend to misbehave, they can definitely get into some trouble during Jawsome.
Some kids go to places they shouldn't, and a lot of kids try to get a double batching of lunch. They just got to be more aware of how it can be used in a positive manner.
What are some ways to improve Jawsome?
I think we could have a better, more teachers walking around, or maybe somebody just checking, like, this shouldn't be happening. So being more diligent and more, I want to say strict, but just holding kids to the accountability and the expectations of what Jawsome was at the beginning of the year.
I think for, again, my students for 8th grade, I think that gradual release at the beginning of the year is great. I also think that there should be more sort of a learning curve, that if kids aren't signing up for things or if they're wandering the halls, I would love to see us come up with a solution for that, just so they can really use that time for either improving their academics or just being in the location, because ultimately we are all responsible for those students that are in the halls.
Do you think Jawsome is an overall positive or negative in our school?
I think Jawsome is overall positive, overwhelmingly positive. I would hate to see it disappear.
I think it's a positive just because it gives kids the ability to just, if they need, just get away from school for a second. I mean, a school day can be a long thing. Sitting at a desk for 6, 7 straight hours, that's a lot. So this gives them the chance to just maybe get a little bit out. They can go to the gym, get some energy out. It's kind of like a recess, you know? It allows them to use that positively. A negative, I would just say using it for the wrong reasons, taking advantage of that. If you're signing up for a Jawsome to get extra help, don't skip it, you know? I don't like writing kids up, but it's an automatic write-up when they skip or miss my Jawsome. And that makes me have to be the bad guy.
An interesting piece around that is that when we first voted on it, I think there were only 5% of staff that said, oh, I don't want to do that, it's not a good idea. And I was one of those people. I couldn't see it. And now I would, you know, fight tooth and nail to keep it, because I do believe it provides opportunity and space and activities and relationship building. There's so many good things, and you know, if we can just figure out as a staff and as a student body how to eliminate or at least pare down that behavior piece, I think we really have something gold.
So, everyone I talked to thought that Jawsome was overall a positive experience, but the students were somewhat critical of it in terms of they wanted a little bit more freedom to where they go. And the teachers were on the opposite end in terms of they wanted Jawsome to be enforced a little bit more. In the end, Jawsome seems to strike a good balance between being useful to those who need it and not being frustrating to those who don't, and has almost done nothing but good for both students and teachers at Monomoy Regional High School.